As soon as 2024 opened with that Cat Williams interview on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp, it was full speed ahead, no matter whether it was gaming, movies, television, entertainment, celebrities, technology, no matter what genre you fell into, everything that followed this crazy year was all set up and primed by that Cat Williams interview. And video games was not any different.
P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no.
Many months later.
News has just confirmed that Sean Diddy Combs was arrested tonight in New York.
So much of the politics and all the real world stuff that we try to close out as gamers leaked into the gaming culture this year that made it absolutely unsufferable. By far one of the most toxic years on gaming internet I've experienced ever since I started this channel in 2021, but I started doing YouTube in 2020. It's been brutal. But in the midst of all of that we still have had some bangers, some genuinely exciting, amazing video games that I fell in love with. Obviously, Black Myth Wukong is my game of the year. There's no secret there. What more can I say that I haven't already said in my last 50 videos that I've made on the subject? You'd be surprised. I do have something that I've never told anyone about Black Myth Wukong that I will share as we approach my #1 pick, but there was another video game that almost knocked Black Myth Wukong off of that stage. This is a game that I played before Wukong and another game that I played after Wukong to help me shake the sadness I had after completing that game with the community and the response that we had, and a couple other things in between. Destined Ones, Freak Party, thank y'all so much for rocking with your boy this year. This has been my best year on YouTube with a silver bullet by far, despite all the negativity and BS that you see online that happens with all the discussion around video games, despite all of the massive layoffs and devs losing their jobs and studios closing and all these live service games adding microtransaction, gotcha this, gotcha that, battle pass. Despite all of the BS, this is still one of the greatest years in video game history, and for my channel, this is the greatest year in my YouTube history. So I would love to take the time to share with you my top 10 games and other things of 2024. So without further ado, please, I hadn't said this in forever, lick that like button, please subscribe to the channel. That's what I used to say when I first started YouTube. Oh my God, thank y'all so much, man. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 10, Stellar Blade. One of the most captivating games of the year. One of the most toxic, non-toxic video game discussions that we've had this year by far is of Stellar Blade. Now, this is a game that I was reacting to and covering since the initial release. One of my most successful videos of the year is my Why You Should Buy Stellar Blade, even if you're not a horny gamer, that went over 100,000 views. That was awesome. And this is one of 3 games that PlayStation actually sent me early. So I had a lot of excitement around this game and I had a good time with this game. I've also realized that me playing games on the channel, that also factors in my final feelings of a game, because if I love a game but the views are down, then that kind of taints my experience, which in turn taints my recollection of if I really enjoyed that game. And Stellar Blade was absolutely one of those, because I was rushing to play this game to try to get it out to get the views, and I kind of rushed the ending, and by that time I was playing multiple hours a day. I was burnt out on it. So when I first finished the game, I didn't really like it that much. As you may have seen in my YouTube title, I wasn't crazy about it, and I still stand by, because I went back and replayed it about a month ago, and the story was not that strong whatsoever, but the gameplay mechanics, the boss battles, the visuals, the energy around the game was all A+, and I must say the second playthrough of Stellar Blade I definitely enjoyed more than the first. So this is why this is one of my top 10 games of the year, and they keep updating the game with multiple updates. Korean studio, I love to see it. Stellar Blade was absolutely goated, and I can't get out here without talking about them. Number 9, WWE 2K24. Now, I'm an old school wrestling fan, so this one won't be that much exciting to all the people that don't like wrestling, don't watch wrestling, but this is one that it's kind of a cheat code, because they remake the same game each year, similar to like NBA 2K and like Madden. So it's kind of one that stays on my list every year because I play it, you know, especially it drops around WrestleMania time when hype is at an all-time peak. The Rock came back, the final boss, Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. This game was beautiful. The story mode was excellent. I don't really have much more to say. It was just more WWE 2K, and as a wrestling fan, this is the game that you always want. You're always trying to scratch that itch of like No Mercy and WWE WrestleMania 2000, as you can see behind me maybe. Wrestling games I would play the rest of my life because it scratches that itch of nostalgia that I have when I was playing back with my brothers, watching WWE Attitude, watching Stone Cold Steve Austin flip everybody else, watching DX tell everybody to suck it, and wrestling games will always be installed on my console. And my boy Brian, which we hadn't played it recently, always try to get in the game together, easily and always on my top 10 games of the year. Besides WWE 2K20, because that shit was broken, bro. You hear me?
And this superstar has a major test
Number 8, Suicide Squad killed the... I'm playing. Number 8, Tekken 8. This is my first year ever playing a Tekken game. Well, I say ever. I've played Tekken games in the past because I'm a Mortal Kombat stand fan, as some of you may have found, you know, with my numerous videos I've made on Mortal Kombat that always get age restricted. But this year, especially because it showcases so many different cultures, like Chinese and Japanese and freaking African. And if you've been around the channel, especially lately, you know I love my cultural games. But I've always been like that even before Wukong. And experiencing the Tekken 8 story in particular was unbelievable. It was so freaking anime. Then we had the DLC after that. This was just a blast to play because a lot of people would comment on some of my Mortal Kombat videos in the past. Well, if you want to play a real fighting game, you go play Tekken. And after playing Tekken, I can totally understand, especially in the Evo tournaments that I've been more in tune with these last few years, that, you know, the sidestepping and the fighting and just the full, it's just, it was awesome. And I'm still playing it to this day. They just added my boy Clive from Final Fantasy 16. And again, as you know, if you watch my Final Fantasy 16, you know my boy Clive Rosfield is my guy. Broke me to tears last year. And that was just my two worlds colliding. As Ifrit in the back doing the icon battles, it is absolute peak video game, peak fighting game, peak anime. Tekken 8 is 100% on my top 10 games of the year. Number 7, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Now, going back to what I said about WWE 2K24, this is a constant. It's almost the last 10 years, a Call of Duty has been on my top 10 list. No matter which one it was, MW2, MW3. I'm a COD fanboy through and through. This has been the longest game I've played, probably more than anything in my life. Initially, as some of you may know, probably not because it's been a while, I started out with a Call of Duty channel, Demon GJX Call of Duty channel, and that shit sucked. And thank God I pivoted. I realized I liked a lot more games and I started the GJX Gaming Arcade. However, this year in particular, because last year they made a 5-minute campaign, even though again, I still enjoyed it. I got a lot of hate for that. Rightfully so, because Activision sent me the game because I looked like a Glazer sellout, the whole shit. But I truly enjoyed it. It's a Call of Duty game I want to shoot. I want a campaign. I love Ghost. I love Price. I'm a fanboy, so it's hard not to please me unless the game is broken. But this year they came out the gate swinging because it was Treyarch, and that campaign was absolutely sensational. For whatever reason, again, going back to how my YouTube's videos performance can affect my overall experience of a game. I posted my first gameplay video, which is still on the channel. It did absolutely terrible, bro. I don't know why, but views for Call of Duty and interest for Call of Duty is so down this year that even the main content creators for Call of Duty have been seeing those effects. So for me, I made the pivot and I played the rest of it off camera. Thank God I did, because I have a fantastic time. Yeah, I mean, it's a mix between platforming and zombies. It was terrifying. It was exciting. It was action. It was everything that we fell in love with the original Call of Duty campaigns for. And this is by far the best campaign in particular since we've had MW2, in my opinion. On top of the multiplayer, on top of zombies being back, I mean, it's something there for everyone. Now, I ain't gonna talk about the battle pass and season this, the skins, you know how they do. But overall, from a campaign experience, from a Call of Duty experience, multiplayer, which is what I mostly played with the Omni movement, they absolutely cooked, and this is easily on my top 10 games of the year. And yeah, it's lit. There we are. Number 6, The Plucky Squire. And in addition to that, this is probably my indie game of the year. It's between this and Neva. I go back and forth, but The Plucky Squire, I remember distinctively. Devolver Digital sent me the code maybe like a week, actually it was 2 weeks before the game released, and I was playing it. And I wasn't supposed to do this, but I was playing it like at 12 o'clock, and I text my boy Nine, who runs the PlayStation YouTube channel. A lot of you, if you've been around the channel, you know that's my boy. I talk about him all the time. And I'm playing this game in 2D, and I hit the button, and that little motherfucker popped out in 3D, and I started running up the book. Mind you, I don't do drugs, but I thought I was tripping acid. I said, mind you, I have watched the trailers, but until you experience it, that shit melted my mind. And I know some people say, well, Zelda did it back in 1974. Oh, I didn't play it. This is the first time for me to experience it, and that shit, I recorded the video to maybe send it on the screen if I could find it, and I was just like, dude, do you see this shit right now? And I even did it before you buy. I think the game is excellent. It's a little more on the kid side of things, but if you just love video games, if you love platformers and just is just little quirky games. It is awesome. I hadn't beat the game yet. I'm right there at the end, but I got sidetracked and had to go do something else. But I'm right there at the end of the game. I'm playing it on my Steam Deck, and it is phenomenal. I mean, it is mind-melting creativity. This is exactly what creative video games should be, even when they take inspirations from previous titles. If it's done right, it hits, and this one hits. So today is September 6th. I'm playing Plucky Squads right now, as you're seeing, and I am just baffled. It's 11 o'clock at night right now, and my brain is just melting on how innovative this game is. Now, before we get into our top 5, I just want to mention a few other things that I love outside of gaming. That was my favorite films and entertainment of the year. Was a silver bullet, no question. The Penguin TV show, as a Batman fan, as a Gotham fan, was some of the greatest piece of television that I've watched since Game of Thrones, and that's my #1 favorite show of all time, up there with Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad. No spoilers, of course, but the way Colin Farrell disappeared into Oz, and that character, let me tell you something, Vic. Like, for weeks, I was walking around the house with a limp, talking to my wife like this: "Hey, honey, you gonna pick up the kids from school? Yeah, here's the thing, sometimes you just gotta do shit we don't want to do. You know what I'm saying, Vic?" I was gone, bro. So when a show affects me to that level, is nothing that is top of the food chain. And again, if you hadn't watched that, you need to go watch it, because that ending is mind-blowing. Another TV show I enjoyed, House of the Dragon. Of course, I'm a Game of Thrones fan. Pissed me off in the ending because we didn't get... Anyway, House of Dragon, I very much enjoyed. There was appointment television I was watching with Twitter, which is online. I had a couple tweets pop off as we were tweeting it live, so that shit was lit. I forgot to add in, of course, Shogun. As a person who is a big fan of samurai and Japan culture, watching this show in Japanese, seeing some of my favorite Japanese actors, and having to focus with my phone down because I had to read the subtitles. A beautiful, incredible samurai story. Please go watch Shogun. And lastly, I cannot forget the Fallout TV show, and this was a catalyst for my Fallout playthroughs that I played here on the channel. And as a person who was a noob who had no idea about the Fallout world, this literally created the hype to bring people to my Fallout videos of me the first time playing, and experiencing that entire world was unbelievable. But Fallout, fantastic. As for movies, Deadpool and Wolverine was an absolute phenomenon. The electricity inside of that theater was unparalleled, like packed theater. I hadn't experienced that probably since Spider-Man No Way Home, whenever Tobey Maguire walked out of that damn portal and everyone stood up with a standing ovation. Like, the energy was crazy. The movie was fantastic. The opening of the Ba Ba Ba, which I still use in my intro now, incredible. Special. If we can just bottle that up in a drug, we would just be all freaking fiends. We'd be crackheads, bro. Like, that was just such an amazing experience as a Marvel fan. Alien Romulus was absolutely terrifying, revitalized the entire Alien franchise, essentially, because now we got Alien Isolation 2. I played Alien Isolation on the channel for the first time. It was absolutely phenomenal, and that movie was just a bang. Transformers 1, I did not get the love and the hype that it deserved, maybe because the art style or something, but as a Transformers fan, man, that movie, seeing Megatron's slow descent into madness, how he went from best friend to complete op, was fascinating. Smile 2, I watched that probably 2 or 3 times. I watched that one 2 times, and that actress's performance, she had me thinking I was dreaming in that movie. That shit was unbelievable, terrifying, old school horror. If you've been around the channel for a while, you know I started out as a horror game creator. Whew, they nailed that shit and knocked it out of the park. 9.8 out of 10 film. And last but not least, my 2024 movie of the year is miles ahead, is Doom Part 2, May Thy Blade chip and shatter. I'm trying to remember a time whenever I was in the theater and I literally thought I was gonna have a panic attack, and that was Avengers Infinity War, when Thanos snapped and killed everybody. That was the only time I can remember like my body having such a visceral reaction of me trying to tell myself, hey, this is not real. Like, I'm so immersed and locked in. And at the end of Doom 2, with Fate and Paul had that showdown and he said, "May that blade chip and shatter," and they fucking panned out that camera and that sunlight is behind him and he gets down like this, I'm not kidding you. If you would have checked my heart rate at that time, you would have probably thought I was having a heart attack. I was like this every and for someone, I practiced Krav Maga and like knife fighting for a number of years. That was crazy, bro. Like, just hearing that, it just like something tapped into me back when I was sparring with like fake knives and like I was so locked in. If you look on the screen, I went and saw that movie 3 times back to back to back. Doom Part 2 is one of the greatest films of all time, and that it inspires me as a creator so much when I'm making these videos about editing and shot. Like, I enjoyed Doom 2 just as much as I enjoyed any video game I played this year. That's all I got from my other stuff. Number 5, the Fallout games. Now, I know you're saying, well, these games didn't come out this year. Remember, this is my games, this is my list. You can have whatever list you want. But for me, my first time playing Fallout 4, my first time playing Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, played all of them here on the channel for the first time. And I'm just gonna bubble all of them into just one big umbrella. And that experience I had, again, going back to the response I had on YouTube, learning the Bethesda universe, that actually made me appreciate games like Starfield even more. Don't leave, I understand, I get it, it's a meme. But that made me understand like their art style, their humor, the way they create a game, their game design, and it gave me one of the best moments I've had on the channel this year, which whenever I decided not to change my character in the game because I didn't want to waste time because I was recording, and I left him as a white guy, and I went over to the bed and the baby was black. It went viral on TikTok, went viral on Instagram, went viral on YouTube, and still one of the funniest moments, the funniest GJX moments of the year. And that happened so organically that you can't write and script that. That literally happened. My reaction, I just came from a date with my wife, so I was freshly shaven. I had my Paisley shirt on. Like, all this stuff just happened, and it all happened because I took a chance because of the Fallout TV show was coming, and I played that game on the channel because I know YouTube. I said, people are going to be interested. I need to play this game for the first time, and I did it like a week before it came out, and just took off crazy. So a lot of you that may still be watching found me through Fallout, and I had a great time. Finding Benny in Fallout New Vegas was my life goal, and after I found Benny and killed him, I didn't want to play no more. I was like, all right, I'm done, you know. So that was for Fallout New Vegas. But one of my greatest gaming experience as a whole, that entire Fallout series here on the channel, and thank y'all so much for watching that. I had a blast, and it's definitely my top 10 games of the year for 2024. So
what's up? What's up? Where you live at? Let's move. Go. Get your hands down, son. Look at you.
Number 4, Helldivers 2. Dun, 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 dun. Helldivers 2 was an absolute phenomenon, especially when it first came out. Even I know it sounds old, but at the beginning of the year when nobody knew anything about the game besides the OGs, and everyone was just playing it for the first time, and I was one of the first creators on TikTok to have their Helldivers 2 TikTok go viral. Again, I post everywhere. I've been doing it for years. To me, I don't even think about it. I make my short, and I posted to TikTok, I posted this, I put the titles, and I move on. And I noticed that for whatever reason, these Helldivers 2 videos are going crazy. And I'm just like, why? And I played it the first time on the channel, which is the first game I got from PlayStation, which again has a heavy influence on creators' opinions on games. I don't care what they tell you, it makes a difference. And the first game I got from PlayStation, it went viral on freaking TikTok. I started having fun. And I'm just like, why is this game so fun? And they gave me that feeling that we had during COVID when Warzone came out. You had the Omni moving on the ground that felt like Snake from Metal Gear. It had everything working for it. The sound effect, the democracy, the whole storyline. It was absolutely phenomenal, bro. This game was a freaking moment in time. And now, and again, it's still doing well. They've had some ups and downs throughout the years. Hype died down. Hype came back up with the new update that they dropped for the Game Awards, which is how live service games go. But this should be a testament for all future PlayStation games that if you're gonna do a live service game, it needs to be like this. But they didn't make this game in intention to make a shitload of money. They were just making it, putting it out. They had no idea, even the studio, they had no idea that it was going to be this successful. And I'm so glad to be a part of initial hype and push, and I was just a part of history of bringing in Helldivers 2, and this would be for history to come. So, and I must admit, I definitely fell off from playing it. I went back for the update, and I've been playing it here and there on my Steam Deck and on the PlayStation as well, and so polished, so good, but it still doesn't scratch that initial first 2 or 3 months that we had with Helldivers, because it was unbelievable, bro. Helldivers 2 has some of the smartest enemy AIs I've ever seen. We're out here diving for humanity surviving. We're out here to spread democracy. So while we're in the fight, while we're in the heat of the battle, we're getting overwhelmed. So you know what I do? I pull out that big boy eagle. Now, if you know about that big boy eagle, you know when you drop that thing, it's going to be hell going everywhere. Watch what happens here.
I believe I can talk.
Number 3, Astro Bot. I am Astro Bot. Now, hey, my Wukong fans, don't leave. It's okay, bro. It's okay to like other games. Listen, Astro Bot, I knew from the moment that I played that game, whenever I was playing and freaking, I threw that axe with Kratos, and the freaking World Serpent came up out the water. I said, it's over. So I knew that the Game Awards leaned towards that type of game because of the accessibility and how easy and how polished it is and how much it rings on nostalgia with all your favorite PlayStation characters. Like, I knew that was going to be the game. And that's a game that anyone can pick up at any stage in your life and play that game and immediately understand what is going on. I know so a lot of people said that, hey, you know, Elden Ring and From Software makes difficult games and that's still one game of the year. Well, that's because they have something what I call From Software privilege, okay? But that's another video for 2025 I have planned. That's why it's that. Just like Nintendo has that Zelda privilege, you know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. As for me and my enjoyment of Astro Bot, this is one of my top 3-4 favorite games of the year. I had a blast. I mean, smiled like just going around slapping the people and doing the dance and like the music and the different themes with Horizon Forbidden West, the last battle. Some of your favorite characters with me been, you know, Gato from Kratos. Hey, bro, them making that Kratos the God of War level over. You know, the only other thing they could have added for me to even put me more in the mood if they add some Wukong to the game, which I hope they do. That'll bring most fan bases together, and I think that could be really cool since Black Myth Wukong is not on Xbox right now anyway. Putting him, I mean, but they'll do that with any character, but putting him into Astro Bot will be so cool. Sending with that staff, bring a lot of the toxicity down in the room right now, and for everyone could just be cool and play together. But I had a blast playing Astro Bot. I mean, any other year that probably would have been my Gotti as well. Number 3, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree. Man, so for context, Elden Ring is my favorite game of all time. I think it's the greatest video game of all time, bar none. Even surpasses like Mario. Like, to me, Elden Ring, like I have over 1,000 hours in Elden Ring on PlayStation 5, on freaking PC, even more so on my Steam Deck. Like, I'm on New Game Plus like 5, and I've never been one to do that on any game. Like, I go to New Game Plus 2 and I'm kind of done. But Elden Ring is the only video game that I've played that I've watched streamers and creators play this game 50 to 100 hours, and I still can walk into a random cave and be like, where the fuck am I? It is unreal. It is unbelievable once you get it, because I used to hate Elden Ring. 2022, I made a lot of negative, hateful videos about Elden Ring being overrated, Elden Ring not being that good, until I finally locked in and played it. And once I got going, once you get going, it's over. I'm telling you. So once they announced the DLC was finally coming and Shadow of the Erd Tree dropped that first trailer, run it. You hear that music? Oh God, oh my God, man, I was in love. But going back once again to the response, I've tried so hard to get into that Elden Ring Souls-like community, and because they've been around for a while and they have their creators that they like, every Elden Ring video I made absolutely freaking just crashed. Nobody fucking cared, nobody watched, and I was so passionate. I gave it everything I got, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because that's when I finally stopped giving a fuck about how my videos did performance-wise and just started having fun, because I gave Elden Ring and the Souls-like community everything I had, and they didn't give a fuck. And I said, okay, I'm done. So that definitely tainted my experience, because I played the first hour or two of Shadow of the Erd Tree on the channel. The video did terrible, so I just played it off camera myself. And even then, I was having fun and I was just having a blast fighting these bosses. It was still a little bit of anger in my spirit, because I wanted to experience this with the community, but the community didn't want to experience it with me. And that's kind of heartbreaking as a creator who's passionate about something, especially something that I hold as the greatest game of all time. Bittersweet, right? But despite all of that, my Wukong community had my back, boy. I mean, Shadow of the Erd Tree, I've beat it 3 times already. Pause. And this is one of the greatest gaming experiences. This DLC was better than 98% of all the games that came out this year and last, in my opinion.
Oh, you gotta give him that pop.
You the fuck away. There we go. There we go. Oh my God. Oh no, we're there. Where is he? It's a dragon. Number 2. Almost got Wukong, boy. It was Lies of P. GJ, make sure you put this shit in your end of the year video. Today is April 1st, 2024. We just beat Lies of P. If I would have played this game last year, it would have been my game of the year over Armored Core. I don't know how much I loved Armored Core if you've been watching me for a while. Lies of P is a fucking masterpiece. Listen, I know I'm late to the party on this game. I know it. I have people tell me last year, Lies of P, Lies of P. I even tried to play it on the channel. I did play on the channel and I raised off of it. It was too difficult. I wasn't ready. It wasn't time for me. It wasn't until I played Armored Core and that took me to another level as a game and gave me confidence to tackle all these difficult games. I beat Armored Core. That's when I was 8. Then I beat Elden Ring. That's when I finally got to Lies of P earlier this year. Again, I could not penetrate. That sounds crazy. I could not get into the Souls-like community. Y'all, they didn't want me. So I played it off camera. I fought that final boss, the Nameless Puppet, for about 2.5 weeks every day. That's no exaggeration. And I finally beat him, and I tweeted, and I have like my video on my phone. I was screaming, GJ, show it. That's when I finally beat the Nameless Puppet after almost 2 weeks. I freaking lost my mind. I felt so elated that I was able to do that. But the story in itself was phenomenal. The music, the setting, how polished this game was, which is from a Korean studio. It's just unbelievable. And this was just the beginning, because from that point there, I put it down. I started New Game Plus, but I stopped. I had other games to play. Then of course, Wukong finally comes out, changes my life. Just the greatest shit I've played in centuries, right? You know, on top of the response and everything, I was so emotionally drained after Black Myth Wukong. It's hard. You know, when you play a game for so many hours and it's finally over, and you know it's over. Like, you go to New Game Plus, you kind of like bop around, you just kind of like, oh yeah, it's not there no more. That's how it was when Wukong ended, and like everyone, it's like the party was over. Everybody goes home. And I cried at the end of that, and I was so depleted. I was like, I need something to scratch this itch that I need to get this game out of my system, because I've been through it before. Final Fantasy 16, and freaking God of War Ragnarok. After that big game is done, you're lost and you're almost depressed. You know, I can't be the only one to experience this. And I was going through that. I need something to scratch this Wukong itch until the DLC or another update comes out. I fired back up Lies of P, but this time I fired it up on the PlayStation, because my initial playthrough was on Xbox Game Pass, PC Game Pass. And so I played it on the PlayStation. I said, okay, let's do it again. For one, I had a much easier time. But for two, I found a weapon that was long like a staff. It's the Giave, and I wreaked havoc. And that right there gave me the satisfaction that I was getting whenever I played Black Myth Wukong, for swinging that damn staff all over the place. And the story affected me so much, because it was about a father who lost his son, who was an artist, who was an engineer, you know, who made these puppets. He was so obsessed with trying to recreate his son, needed a heart. He put the heart back into Geppetto. Dude, it's unbelievable, bro. It's unbelievable. If you haven't played Lies of P, if you're in like a rut right now, especially if you're coming off Wukong and you're on New Game 17, and you're like, I need something else, I cannot recommend Lies of P. Like, I cried. This is all off camera. You know, both times after I beat the game, the music, the sadness, the setup for the DLC at the end. I mean, the satisfaction with the combat is so smooth. The way it looks, the game is polished. Ugh. Just beat Lies of P. Oh my God. There can only be one, number one. My game of the year for 2024, number one, Black Myth Wukong. Now, this is no surprise. Y'all all know, everyone knows that Black Myth Wukong is my game of the year, game of the century. Because not only did this game change my perspective of gaming, it basically changed the channel's direction. I mean, as you can see, I'm leaning more into like the Chinese and you know, Eastern games because of Black Myth Wukong, because of the response, because of all the hype and support, and just because I'm naturally interested in the gaming culture and mythology of China. What I can tell y'all that I haven't told you before, y'all know I love the game. You know it, right? But I was trying to think of something that I haven't told y'all on camera about Black Myth Wukong, and I can tell you about the night that the game released, exactly why I put it out that night and I didn't wait. Black Myth Wukong released, I couldn't get a game code early, and this shows you how inspiration works. One of my favorite YouTubers is Hollow. Been doing it for a long time. He's a variety gamer. He's leaned more into the horror games lately, which also influenced my decision of leaning more into my niche, which is Chinese games or just international games. But I was literally sitting here, my TV is right here, and Wukong came out. I was like, you know what? what? I said, I'm gonna turn it on and I'll give y'all some inside baseball. Cause a lot of times when I play these games on the channel, for one, I have to make sure it's optimized. And sometimes like I play a game, like I skip the cutscene and I go straight into the combat just to see how it feels, to see if I'm gonna genuinely like it. I've done this many times. A lot of YouTubers do this. Cause I don't wanna be hype this game up and I get into it and I hate it and y'all notice that I hate it. So for a game like Black Myth Wukong that I've been talking about for 4 years, I was nervous. I said, man, if this game doesn't deliver to all these years of hypes, it's going to be a shit show. So I was like, you know what? The game was downloaded. I already had it pre-downloaded. I already had it pre-purchased. And so I got to the main menu screen. It was like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I was like, all right, I'm just going to wake up at 4 and play it in the morning, upload it, whatever. And right I was cutting off my PlayStation, open YouTube, and I saw Hollow uploaded. Welcome to Black Myth Wukong. And again, even though he's at like 5 million subs, I still look at him as competition, healthy competition. Like it inspires me. And I said, fuck, this nigga don't upload it. I said, all right, let's get it. And so I cut it on. I was excited. I went and drunk me some coffee. Mind you, I got to take my kids to school. And I put on the game, put on my hat, Dead Space. I said, all right, let's do it. And from the moment Son Wukong was sitting down and I mashed play, and it transitioned to him just sitting down one shot, and that music hit. And he running, and he jumped off that cliff. I heard something whisper to me, goes, this is your moment. This is your time. Like, this is it. It was like myself from 2021 talking to me when I first made this channel about how I'm gonna make it and how I'm gonna affect people. That was the moment where that, like something, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was Buddha. I don't know. But it was some spirit just told me, just go, this is it. And I ended with this. I don't want to be crying all over the place, but you know, I'll say I'm a wrestling fan, and Cody Rhodes is like the biggest star in the business right now. But on his rise up, the crowd would chant, "We want Cody, we want Cody." And Cody said this that applies to this situation for me. And he said, you have no idea how long I've waited to hear y'all say that, because I wanted y'all to want me too. And in that moment, when I got that response on that video and everything that followed, that's everything I ever dreamed of as a creator when I started this channel. Is I just wanted people to want to watch me do what I love to do, which is video games. And this year has proved that that is the case. And it's all because the Destined Ones, me and you. So thank y'all so much, man. And we ended that with the biggest stream I've ever had, you know, almost 20,000 views right now for the Game Awards. It's like a storybook fairy tale, bro. It's unbelievable. Can't thank y'all enough. 2025, we do it again, but better. Whatever your game you love, whatever your game of the year is, however you found me, thank you so much, bro. All right, for the last time of 2024,